And here we are again. Greetings, fellow fattercasters. How the devil are you? Hello, chaps, and all of that. Oh, there's some light reflecting off that bald noggin there. Let's see if we can calm that down a bit and just tweak that down a bit. It makes a bit of difference. I should really look into a bit better lighting in here, really, shouldn't I? At least pretend I'm doing something serious. We'll leave it at that. What the hell? Just put your sunglasses on or maybe I can adjust the light. Shall we do that? Shall we go to a different flavour of light? What about that one or that one? Or I think we'll stick with that one. Yes. How you all been? It's been a busy week for me. I won't lie. Absolutely snowed under with lessons and other stuff. I've changed the way I'm doing things, in certain ways. And whenever you kind of have some sort of change like that, it takes you a little while to settle into a new rhythm, and kind of get used to the new, slightly different workflow, which I'm going to be updating you on as we go through the stream, as long as I remember that is, because, I just sit here and I talk rubbish for an hour and anything can happen. But let's stick to the script and see who was first in after I've had just a little bit of lubricant. Still on the kind of entry-level Carlsberg. It's when you only drink on a weekend, that's good enough. Paul Trainer first in. Is that a first for you, mate? We seem to go through a little bit of a rent to kill. That's his name, isn't it? Phase for a while, didn't we? But I can't remember I've seen you front of the class before. So well done. Then we've got Bev Doyle's Theme Tunes, the artist formerly known merely as Theme Tunes. And then Balder 64 and Amadeus. There's Dave Fiendish, David James and Paul Trainer once again chucking a couple of quid in the tip jar. Thank you so much, mate. Much appreciated. That'll go towards tonight's takeaway. Who else have we got? We've got Anton, we got Rubbish Guitar Bloke, Vincent Brennan, Mark Kerno, Peter Collins is in, so is Malcolm Spillett, Francis Chambers, Johnny Random, Dr. Gomez and Chip Young. There's PFY Guitars, Cylon Hybrid, John Ross, Peter Hall, Auto Geddon 1, Grandpa Joe. I always read out Joe's post in that chat because he's always trying to drum up a bit of business for me. So it's in my interests too. Let's put him up on screen here. Hello, John and Fattercasters. By joining John's Patreon, besides supporting the channel, take into consideration what you get for joining. You get great content and Zoom chats with John and Fattercasters. That is indeed true. And I'm going to be going through all of the benefits of the Patreon thing, because somebody said to me a little while ago, you really should, kind of give the Patreon thing a bit of a plug when you get the chance on the live stream. So, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to be doing a little bit of shilling later on, and I'll try and keep it to a minimum. And I'm shilling for someone else as well tonight, but you'll find out what's going on as we go through. There's Paul Bush from Austria. At last I made it. Nice to have you here, mate. And Ian Clark is hopefully home in time for the start. Did you make it, mate? Cushman NYC, Joe McMurray is in, so is Ingrid. Thomas Mulvaney, Doc Alders, back in real time this week. Cheers and enjoy the beers from Helen and Ian in sunny Sheffield. It's been pretty sunny here today. Well, this afternoon it was. It was miserable as sin when I walked the dog this morning. But the one good thing about dog walking in bad weather is it tends to discourage all of the people who aren't very good at being dog owners. Do you know what I mean? They have big status breed dogs that they have no control of and make a bit of a pain in the arse of themselves. So they don't tend to come out when it's raining, which is one advantage. We've got Austin Barrett. We've got Cal Texper, Frank Bolam. Colin Falcon is in. So is Chris Otterwell, Robin Fawcett. Johnny D, session guitar legend that is Gary Shaw, is in. So is Searching for Tone. Nice to see you, mate. Been a while since you made one of these. Brad Dowell is in, so is David Collins, John Channing, Pablo Hank, Robert Forsyth, Mr. Chris, and my mucker, Steve Cassidy guitar. Nice playing on your intro jam on your live stream yesterday, mate. I watched it this morning as I was just after I brought the dog back from his walk, and very entertaining it was too. Jimmy James is in from the wet coast. Is that the west coast or is it just a wet coast, Canada? Moon's Guitars is in, so is let's have a look. Bob 28, Bill Mumbo, and what you saying there, Boulder 64? All the better for nogging the nog. Well, good for you, mate. Keep on nogging. And I hope Nog doesn't mind. The Essex Cat is in, and who else? We've got Grumpy Horse, William Forrest, and scrolling down, John Little is in. I see, so is Nick Shaw, and let's have a wee look here. We've got Maiden Man 74, Wet West, says Jimmy James. So it's both wet and west. Nice to know, mate. And anyone else? I think that's everybody. If I've missed you out, it's not through, any conspiracy. Never, ever blame it on a conspiracy when it can be equally explained away by incompetence. And that's certainly the case when it comes to a fat, bald northern lad from out in the sticks up in Redcar. Although we do have a rather fine curry house here, don't we? As some of you can attest to. Is that who said Ian Clark only just made it? Well, nice to have you here, mate. Right, I better tell you what's coming up on the channel, hadn't I? You might remember that a few weeks ago now, because I make these videos not necessarily in the sequence that they go out and well ahead of time. So it's like, people like, I'll bet there'll be something in the chat tonight about a video that went out this week. I'll have made that back in August. And it's like, well, what did I say in that video? But at some point recently, I did a video where I was checking out my pal David's Explorer. And a few of you in the comments to that video put me right on what pickups are in it. And I thank you for that, because that chimes with what David said in a text that I got from him, which I'm just going to read out now. Let me go and find it. The Explorer is a 2016 Explorer T with Gibson high output ceramic 500T and 496R, if I remember correctly. The TP6 bridge was an aftermarket mod that the person I bought it off always does to his Explorers, his favourite guitar of choice. Hope that helps. So yes, all of the people who kind of pointed out that it's a 500T pickup and a 496R, thank you so much. That came. That all sort of came along at the same time as that text, so I just thought I'd give you an update there. Anyway, why am I talking about this Explorer? Well, because we're doing another video with it, or I've done another video with it that's going out on Sunday, where I'm basically trying to ascertain, is an Explorer just a Les Paul in a fancy suit? Is like, do all Gibson guitars with a 24 3/4 inch scale length, a set neck, and a pair of humbuckers basically sound the same, or is there some kind of a reason for, maybe you own a Les Paul and you're thinking, do I need an Explorer? Is there anything sonically different, or is it just, like a visual statement that you're making? Well, on Sunday, we're going to be doing a comparison between the Explorer and the Les Paul. Different pickups in the guitars, not a like-for-like comparison. It's by no means scientific, but what it is a fun little comparison to do. So that's why I did it. Half the time when I do these comparison videos, what I'm doing is satisfying my own curiosity and having fun myself, and you're just kind of acting in a voyeuristic way, watching me, indulging my curiosity, and hopefully it's an enjoyable watch. Anyway, that's Sunday's video. Monday, what we're talking about on Monday? Well, basically just a little trick that you can employ when you're playing lead guitar. As you know, Monday's videos are all basically lead guitar lessons of some form or other. I did start off this Monday soloing lesson kind of thing. I'm going to do blues one week and I'm going to do rock the next, and it sort of just ended up, as I suspected it would, merging into one kind of thing where I'm just giving little tips and tricks on lead guitar playing, and that's what Monday's video is. If you find yourself running out of licks, when you're playing solo, you can't think of what to play, and you've basically kind of run out of ideas halfway through a solo. I've been there, we've all done it, and you are just kind of bereft of ideas, and you just start noodling and rambling to fill up the space available. Then you need to watch Monday's video, because it's a surefire antidote to that malady, and you get more mileage out of your licks, and it means that you can just play pretty much without ever running out of ideas. You can just keep going. It just flows. And if you want to know the secret to it, it's really simple, and you can find it out on Monday. Then Tuesday's video. Again, I do these videos weeks, if not months in advance, and they're just stacked up, ready to go out. Pretty early on when I started this, I'm back in focus. When I started doing this video schedule that I'm doing, because before, kind of lockdown and all that kind of nonsense, I was doing 2 videos a week, and then, as soon as lockdown hit, I went to the current Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and a live stream and a weekend video. And I quickly realized that I could knock out 1 and a bit videos per day if I got my head down and worked at it. Well, okay, so 1.5 videos per day, you soon sort of start getting well ahead. And when I had my little finger incident, that ate up some of the stock that I had built up. But I've caught back up again. So hence I make these videos well in advance. I'm rambling, I know, but that's what you come here for. At the time of recording Tuesday's video, we had sadly just lost one Mr. Rick Davis of Supertramp. So it just seemed an ideal opportunity to do a Supertramp themed video. So Tuesday, it's my top 5 Supertramp songs. Then Wednesday, you know what's happening on a Wednesday at the moment, don't you? It's all about rhythms and rhythm notation and counting rhythms and understanding rhythms and just being a little bit more rhythmically aware. And we're going to look at a rhythm which originated in Cuba, and as part of a form of Cuban folk music, and then has just essentially taken over the world. It's everywhere. Everybody's used it, from I don't know, U2 to the Rolling Stones to George Michael to Tom Petty. Everybody's used this particular rhythm, and I'm going to show you how you can use it in your soloing as well. And then Thursday's video, it's Why Make Life Complicated? I'm going to show you what I think is the simplest way of getting the most mileage in terms of the sounds that you need out of whatever you're plugged into in terms of an amp or a pedal board or, kind of some sort of modeler or whatever. If you are one of these people who enjoys menu diving and, scrolling and, kind of swapping out impulse responses and just ever chasing that kind of extra minuscule percentage of a percent of what you're doing with your tone, then you're probably not going to watch Thursday's video, because it's basically a very kind of low tech and simple way of getting done what you need to get done. If all that sounds a bit cryptic, well, just watch the video on Thursday and you'll figure out exactly what I'm talking about. Right, as you can tell, I'm in need of lubrication. Chin chin. Let's have a look, see what I've missed in the chat while I've been blethering away there. Right. Here we go. Boulder 64, you're on the ball there. Who's going to join the Christmas live stream? What time will it be this year, John? 12. No, I'm going to do it at 1 o'clock, mate. 1 o'clock is just that hour later that makes it slightly more civilized for the international brethren. I'm thinking mainly of those stateside. 1 p.m. UK time, Christmas Day. And that's the one live stream I do each year where shall we say, there's been beer consumed before the stream kicks off. Um, um, Anton's saying Christmas live stream is traditional now, replaces the King's speech. Indeed. Well, okay. Fair enough. It's that'd be be cool to see Chuck there with a pint and just kind of. I wonder if he would do a live stream for us. Uh, Bill Mumbo saying rhythm method Catholic boy. I am, as it happens, but very very much lapsed, as they say. Yes, indeed. Gary Shaw's saying rest in peace, Anthony Jackson, amazing bass player. Oh, why do I know that name? I hadn't heard of his passing, but let's have a look. He was an American bassist, described as one of the masters of the instrument, performed session musician and live artist. He was developed with credited with the development of the modern six-string bass, which he referred to as a contrabass guitar. Okay, yeah, who's he played with? Aldi Meola. He's played with Steve Kahn, Chaka Khan, Buddy Rich, Lee Ritner, Mike Stern, Eric Gale, Grover Washington Jr. Like tons of just like the list goes on and on and on and on and on. It's one of those names that I know it because I've probably read it on countless album sleeve notes over the years. I didn't know that he'd shuffled off this mortal coil. Well, rest in peace, Anthony. Bill Mumbo saying Danny Sapko did a short video earlier. Yeah, I don't know why, but I don't get Danny Sapko's videos cropping up in my feed. I'm subscribed and I keep checking that I'm subscribed, but there's his stuff doesn't come up. I have to actually go and search for it, which some people will kind of start saying, oh, conspiracy, but as I've said, never ascribe to conspiracy what can just as easily be kind of ascribed to incompetence and uselessness. Let's have a look. Bev Doyle's theme tunes. The Explorer always makes me think of Phil Manzanera in Roxy Music. Yes, now, I said I was going to be shilling for somebody else, didn't I? Well, Mr. Theme Tunes is very much the person in question. He's got a YouTube channel. You'll notice, Bev, that you've got a little blue spanner next to you in the chat there. That's because you're officially a mod, so you can post your links in the chat. And he's done a really kind of tongue-in-cheek Frankenstein-themed Halloween piece of music. All music, vocals, guitar, everything played by Mr. Theme Tunes there. And it's really rather good. It's got a riff that will stay with you, all day long, real proper earworm, and some nice harmony lead guitar in there as well. It's just the right side of tongue-in-cheek. And it's it's like a song you could hear on the radio. So go and check it out. Mr. Theme Tunes, post your link in the chat, sir. Feel free to do so. Now, what's my phone pinging for? Let's have a look. Okay, just somebody messaging me through Patreon, which I'm going to be talking about again in a second. I'll reply to that after the live stream. Let's have a look. Malcolm Spillett saying I might have to miss the Christmas live stream as we'll be spending Christmas Day out with sons. I'll get it on catch up. Yes. It's I will endeavour, because here's the main thing I love about Christmas, right? It's the one day of the year when you can crack open a beer at 9:30 on a morning and nobody looks at you judgmentally. You say it's Christmas, but I shall endeavour to lay off the. No doubt, Santa will be bringing me at least a couple of bottles of Highland single malt. Usually does. He knows. He knows me. Does Santa? He knows what I like. But I shall endeavour to lay off that until after the live stream because it might get a bit messy. You know. There's Bev Doyle. There's Mr. Theme Tunes. There's his link there in the chat. Make sure you go and check it out. Available at all streaming services, of course, and the video is here. So there we go. Just go and check it out. It's really, really good. And I wonder who his guitar teacher is. Just saying. So anyway, the other announcements I've got to make here. As you know, a few weeks ago, I launched this kind of jamming contest where I put a backing track up. And if you haven't seen the video, let me post that in the link as well. Let's put it in here, the jam video. Not the jam as in the band, but where I'm inviting you good folks to kind of download a jam track and jam over it and send it to me. And I said there'd be some sort of prize. I've been literally snowed under with an entry. No, I've had more than one. I've had maybe half a dozen people send in entries. And, I don't want this to drag on and become like a long-winded thing. So I'm announcing it now. You've got another week. By this time next week, it will be competition will be closed, and at that point the judging will begin. And I'm not sure how the judging process is going to go yet. I might do a video on it. I might do it in the live stream. I haven't figured out how we're going to do this, but what I'll do is I'll probably narrow it down to some kind of, I don't know, short list. Maybe we'll have the Olympic podium, gold, silver, and bronze. I'll narrow it down to that, and then I might put up some kind of poll or something so you chaps can choose who's going to be waltzing off with the coveted prize. But anyway, another week, and you've got that. To that amount of time to get your jam in. All you need to do is go and download the jam track. I've put the link to the video in the chat there. Go and watch that video if you haven't seen it already. There's a link to the download, to the jam track download in the description of that video. And you can download the jam track, record what you play over the top of it, and send it to me, jrguitartuition@gmail.com. JR, those are my initials, Guitar Tuition. That's what I do. And then @gmail.com. And JR Guitar Tuition is all one word, so you've got to be a real plank to misspell it, but I managed to do that the other day when I was filling in a form. So just don't do what I did. Don't misspell it. So another week to get your entries in for the jamming contest, and let me just refuel. Let's just top the bunkers off, as it were. I'm top the bunkers off. Can you tell I've been reading some old Tom Clancy novels, all full of Navy speak? Haven't read any of his stuff in, God, it's got to be at least 10, 15 years or more. I'm really enjoying going through them again. If you want a riveting, here's a book recommendation. Maybe I should do this every week. If you want a riveting, good adventure yarn, and just a real kind of page turner, and just a brilliantly told tale, then Without Remorse by Tom Clancy, one of the best kind of action yarns. It's not going to change your life. It's not going to bring sort of inner peace and enlightenment. It's not going to do any of that. It's just pure, what people used to call an airport novel, where you read it for relaxation and entertainment, and it is a proper good adventurous page turner. Without Remorse, Tom Clancy. I've just finished reading it, and I can highly recommend it. Amadeus is saying, um, anyone got a red special? What guitar type does it most resemble? Well, I'm thinking with the three single coil pickups, it's got to have a whiff of a Strat about it, hasn't it? I know that the pickups aren't combined in the same sort of combinations as you get in a Strat, mainly because they're combined in series rather than in parallel. But what's his name? Elmo with the surname that I can never pronounce, and he always says it too quickly. To you know the guy I mean, big YouTuber, and does a lot of great reviews. He reviewed the Harley Benton copy of it, and basically likened that guitar to a Strat. So the guitar, which is a copy of the Brian May Red Special, is likened by a well-respected reviewer as being very Strat-like. So that's as much as I can tell you. I've never actually played a Red Special apart from the Harley Benton one. Boulder's saying Terminalist on Amazon Prime and Terminalist Dark Wolf. Okay, I shall check those out because we've still got Amazon Prime. We've binned Netflix because it was like there was something on there like Once in a Blue Moon that you wanted to watch, and it was out of all of the streaming services, it was the dearest one. The streaming service I watch mainly is Discovery. I just watch old episodes of Salvage Hunters on there when I'm kind of frazzled after a day in here talking about guitar. What else have I missed in the chat? Cylon Hybrid. The winner on tonight's clapometer is, but remember, it's your vote at home that counts. And I mean that most sincerely, folks. Yes, that's a blast from the past, isn't it? Huey Green, Opportunity Knocks, the clapometer. That was obviously rigged, wasn't it? It was just an arrow on a bit of cardboard that they used to put in front of the camera, and the bloke, the cameraman or somebody or some kind of T-boy crouching underneath and just kind of moving this arrow along. So, what else we got? A lot of book recommendations here. PFY Guitars. That's where this conversation arose, did it? I must have missed this one. Just won a Red Special today. I'll drop it off for review when it arrives. That would be absolutely fantastic, mate. I've got some really nice guitars turning up here, just courtesy of people's generosity for me to, make videos with them. So I've got, at some point, I have no idea when, I've got the Milehouse Studios pallet wood guitar turning up for a turn in Robson Towers. Now, PFY Guitars is going to drop round with a Red Special, and there's a guitar coming all the way from China. Well, not directly to me from China, but one of you very kind chaps has bought it. It's not a Chibson, okay? I'm just going to say that. But it is a guitar that was custom built in China, and that's coming all the way to me for me to put under the microscope. Lots of great content coming up. Talking of guitars, shall we have a look at some of the ones that you chaps have sent in my viewers guitar picks folder? So I'm just opening this up, and we're going to start off with. Let me just see, is that other one in there? Yes, we're going to start off with one of two guitars that you've already seen in this slot. One of them you've actually seen in this room, but it's been a while, so we'll just put this one up. This is from David Sotheby and his Hofner Committee. On the left there, you can see a very young and handsome-looking Mr. Sotheby back in 1977 with his Hofner Committee. And on the right, you can see the guitar and the same gentleman as they appear today. And I would say they're both aged remarkably well. He says that he keeps this guitar in a lower tuning. I think he said, was it E-flat tuning that you said, David? Just basically, because it's the glue that holds these guitars together is, essentially, well, it'll have started off life as a racehorse, and and then it ends up as the glue that holds the guitar together, and it's not the most long-lasting adhesive, shall we say? But nice to see a little before and after, or then and now kind of picture of the same guitar. Now, why isn't that working? Maybe I need to do it there. There we. Oh, and it's jumped a few. Right. Excuse me, gremlins. There we go. Gary Shaw's studio, or his studio as it was. This is. He sent me a little jam that he did from about 30 years ago. Really, I mean, yeah, Gary is a proper pro player, and it showed in this little jam that he was doing. Probably a throwaway thing that he did when he was in his downtime, and it was like, yeah, that's some proper guitar playing, and it was recorded on this rig here. It's I've got studio envy, I've got desk envy looking at that there. He says it's been updated since when it's gone all digital, but that'd get the job done massively, wouldn't it? As I say, if you have any pictures of any of the equipment that you use in order to make music, then send them over, jrguitartuition@gmail.com. Another one from John North. John North's doing a lot of heavy lifting with the viewers' guitar picks at the moment. And this is a Harley Benton TE62DB in Candy Apple Red, Lindy Fralin blues pickups. Yeah, I mean, you look at that and you think, if you're after a Telecaster, or if you're after a great modding platform, I mean, I think these are the ones with the roasted maple necks, aren't they? Just why do you need anything else? They're just rock solid workhorse, good modding platform guitars, and even just as they come stock, they're excellent guitars, and they're dirt cheap as well. Then another one from John North. This is his Fender Strat Tom DeLonge. Is it DeLonge or DeLong or DeLonge? I've never heard anybody pronounce that, but it's one of those anyway. Single pickup, Strat with a meaty looking humbucker there. Tom DeLonge is not known. I'm going to say DeLonge. He's not known for his smooth jazz and kind of complex. Kind of bebop lines, is he? That's a guitar for smashing out all the small things, really, isn't it? And another John North one, Squire Sonic modified with Graphic ratio tuners, steel nut. Never heard of that before. Never heard of a steel nut on a guitar. Is that a regular thing? Do people do that a lot? Brass, certainly. Bone, a lot. Kind of graph tech and everything. Never heard of a steel nut. That's a new one on me. And it appears that John does like his Lindy Fralin pickups because they're in that guitar as well. And you can see I put a typo in here. This is Malcolm Spillett's Dan Electro Longhorn bass. Yeah. Years and years and years ago, I remember on a Sunday afternoon they used to do repeats of the Beverly Hillbillies. Now, was it Jed Clampett, the kind of father figure? There was some kind of elaborate plot that required him to be playing an electric guitar, and they gave him one of these. It was guitar shaped and it was electric and it was a bit sort of zany looking. I don't think they realised it was a bass, and he certainly wasn't kind of playing it in real life. And I think there was a bit of miming going on there. But again, I played one Dan Electro before, and it wasn't one of these. So that would be, just wonder what it's like. Would you, with the bass kind of where it usually sits in a mix, do you notice the Dan Electroness of that or not? Who knows? I certainly don't. Let me know if you do. Now, this is another guitar that you've seen on the channel before. This, again, I've spelled his name right this time, Malcolm Spillett's Ferrocaster, a wrought iron frame of a body. And I'm not sure, that looks suspiciously like some kind of parts caster neck. I think Malcolm bought this guitar in the condition that it's in. You know, it wasn't a guitar that he put together. Um, and yeah. And do you know what that guitar sounds like with a body made of, kind of fresh air and wrought iron? It sounds remarkably like a Telecaster, So all this kind of stuff about, Alder sounds like this, and Poplar sounds like that, and Basswood sounds this way, and Swamp Ash sounds like that. Yeah, well, this guitar sounded like just any other Telecaster. So I think that I wish Mythbusters was still on TV because they could tackle that one, couldn't they? And one from Paul Bush. This is his Ibanez S series from 1999, and I'm assuming this is a recent photograph of it. And for a guitar that dates back, a quarter of a century, that is in absolute mint condition, isn't it? And this has been a faithful friend to Paul. He's used it in gigs and gigs and gigs, and just it's been his kind of main workhorse guitar. Never let him down, and it's just the right side of the Liberace line, isn't it? You know what I mean? It looks kind of opulent, and it looks sort of luxurious, but it doesn't. Throw some gold hardware and a little bit more kind of pearloid on there with binding or something, and you'd be pushing it past the Liberace line, from opulence to ostentatiousness. But that I very much approve of. Lovely looking guitar. And Reeled In, this is his, it's not a 58 Les Paul, Reeled In 58 is the chap's name. And this is his Les Paul. Love the little mini humbuckers there. And, that's a guitar that just looks like it's there to earn its keep. It's there to do a job. It's not shouting about itself, although I bet that's a guitar that could get rather shouty if you plug it into the right kind of receptacle. Show that a Marshall, and that's going to give you a magical tone, isn't it? Yeah. Another guitar that I very much approve of. And this one's from Tom Clark. This is Tom Clark Strat number 4. Tom's a bit of a Strat guy as well as a Telecaster guy as well. And I can't remember what he said about this guitar, but it looks certainly like USA built, or I don't know. We've got a 22 fret neck, so that I'm thinking USA built, but you've got the 6-screw bridge. I do apologise, Tom. I can't remember what you said about that guitar, but I do like the mint green, and I do like this black pearl scratch plate. It's one of the things that I often find is a little bit off-putting on Strats, where you've got just a clinical white lump of plastic covering up, the timber of the body. I always like it to be a little bit more decorative than that, but again, not straying across the Liberace line. And that is your lot for this week. Let me just have a little bit more lubricant. Oh, Tom Clark saying 1980s. That's in good nick for that link. USA 1980s. It's in good nick for that sort of age, mate. Johnny D saying, have to say the amount of guff manufacturers throw at us is ludicrous. Snake oil is their biggest seller. You're very welcome, Gary. Too kind, John. Mate, you are some hell of a guitar player. Shall we, I know I've suggested this before, but shall we do some sort of long distance collab at some point where we both jam over the same track? And I'd love to do that. I'd love to play some music with you, Gary. You are one heck of a player. Tone Iron says, Malcolm Spillett. John North clearly lives in a guitar shop. Reckon he's got more stock than Andertons. Most of I'm not exactly got a shortage of guitars in here. But, I have friends who, some of them are students, because a lot of my students are basically, people that come to me for lessons, and then we end up, kind of friendships get formed. And a lot of my mates, students and otherwise, have got, like, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 guitars in here at the moment. And that collection, if you want to call it that, is dwarfed by some of the people that are just hobbyists that I know. So it gives me a nice excuse when I'm saying, well, explaining it to the missus, and I'll say, yeah, but I haven't got as many as David. And Malcolm Spillett's got his collection down to 21. Mr. Chris has got 15 guitars. Who's that addressing me there? Rexamatic is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Let's put him up on screen. Moving Slow a While is the full-length version of the song you invited viewers to add lead guitar, called D Major Pop Rock Jam Track on your Patreon. Yes, it is, mate. Yes, it is. In fact, they're both called D Major Pop Rock Jam Track, I think. It's just that I kind of put a longer version of it up on Patreon. We got Jojo Fry in the house. Nice to have you in. Hi, John. Just watch your video about guitar show content. Some fair points for sure, but I still find it interesting to watch as I'm not likely to be able to go to many of these things. Well, that's a fair point. As I did say in the video, if it's the sort of thing that floats your boat, then more power to you. It's just because I'm a misanthropic, miserable old git that, it's not for me. It's far too people-y. Do you know what I mean? It's just that it's the people, can I not just put my feet up on a footstool with me slippers on and watch salvage hunters and drink beer and eat a takeaway? That's my idea of a good time. Yes, probably in me pyjamas as well. That's now there's an image that'll buy you 6 months in therapy. Stevie Hoggett is in, my pal Steve. What you saying there? Oh, what's happened there? Off for a week to rewire the studio. Oh, wiring, mate. Yes. As you know, I have an electronics background, but anything remotely wiring related, I will just. That's not a fun day for me. But just I feel your pain, mate. So, what else have we got? Let's have a look. Anyway, yes, and I almost forgot. I've got a bit more shilling to do. Let's get that out the way before we crack on. I said I've been, excuse me, I've been changing the way I do things around here and settling into a new workflow. Basically, I've been changing the way that the Patreon is organised. Nobody is losing, everybody is gaining. And that's got to be something to celebrate, hasn't it? So, what do you gain? Well, the tier 1 level of Patreon, you still get all of the tabs, all of the jam tracks, all of the kind of stuff that I go on about in YouTube videos. All of that is still there for tier 1, $3 a month. You also get a monthly podcast and a monthly solo analysis as well. Tabs, jam tracks, all the usual sort of stuff. So that's all still there, but the tier 1 members now get my weekly blog that goes out on a Friday as well, and so that's all for $3 a month, and I put usually at least 3 kind of tabs and jam tracks and stuff up per week on Patreon. And that's still, $3 a month. But if you choose to pay $6 a month and go for the tier 2 membership, you now get a weekly Zoom hangout with me and the other tier 2 chaps, the other tier 2 Fatacasters. That's going to be 7 p.m. every Tuesday, starting this coming Tuesday, 7 o'clock for an hour. We just hang out on Zoom. It's very much like the live stream, but with a couple of important differences. Number one, it's not me just talking and other people typing. It's, we're all just on a Zoom call and we can have a chat. And the other thing is, of course, is that it's not being broadcast publicly. So we can be a little bit freer with the things that we say. What happens on Zoom stays on Zoom. That is very much the rule. The only other rule is no politics. We don't talk politics on there because can you think of an easier way to fall out with people? especially these days. So we keep it to just kind of general chit chat, banter, guitar related stuff. That kind of thing. And as I say, now it's going to be weekly, every Tuesday, 7 p.m. So tier 2, you get all the tabs and jam tracks and everything, plus that weekly hangout, plus the blog post as well, plus like the monthly podcast and solo and everything. You also get a weekly reaction video that I put out on a Sunday. But the biggest change that I've made is that you now get early access to my YouTube videos. The tier 2 Patreon chaps this week have been viewing the content that's going to be going out on YouTube in December. So, you get early access to that, and it's $6 a month, So I'm just trying to drum up a little bit of interest in that because, go and compare, what I charge for my Patreon with, with what other people charge for, in a lot of cases, less content. It's, I think I'm offering pretty good value, and I just thought I'd just give it a little bit of a plug there. Anyway, that's the shilling done. So let's have more beer. That's going down really rather well tonight, it has to be said. And let's just top this up, then I'll have a quick scan of the chat and see what I've missed while I was just kind of doing a little bit of self-aggrandizement, as they call it. Shilling is probably the slightly less charitable way of describing it. But anyway, let's have Searching for Tone just said, I just gifted a membership for a year, John. That's nice of you, mate. Tom Clark saying, JR Patreon is awesome value. Searching for Tone, let's put you up there. Whoever clicks this link first gets it. That is very, very generous of you, Searching for Tone. He's bought a year's membership of my Patreon and he's giving it away because he's a top bloke. Thank you so much for doing that. And, somebody needs to be quick, I should say, clicking on that link. Let's have a look, see what else I've missed. Megalock Ellie says, I've just bought let's put it up on screen. I've just bought my first VIP ticket for a concert. Welcome drink, hot, cold buffet, and dessert. Tommy Emmanuel. I hope it's worth it, and he's that good. Tommy Emmanuel is, he was beamed in from another galaxy, frankly, wasn't he? He's one of those guitarists where when you just listen to him play, you think, well, that's obviously two guitarists. No one person could do that on one guitar, not unless they have four arms with two hands at the end of each of them and 10 fingers on each hand. And then you see him playing and it's like, oh, yeah, reassess your place in the grand scheme of things, Mr. Robson. He is absolutely astonishing. You're going to have a great night there, mate. Searching for Tone, as you said, I realise I've been a member for a year and haven't gotten on a Zoom yet. Well, yeah, I post the Zoom link regularly for the Tier 2 subscribers. It's we're building up a nice little community there. It's just, as I say, we have a beer, we have a chat. We don't have to worry about, pleasing an algorithm, or more importantly, we don't have to worry about displeasing an algorithm. Darren Myers is in. Nice to see you, mate. And Gary Shaw saying, yes, we shall, John. Well, that'd be great, mate. I think I sent you some jam tracks a while back, didn't I? So just just take your pick and we'll get on with it. Let's have a look. Anything else that I've missed? I don't think so. By the way, I'm completely and utterly out of viewers' tales. So So, if you have any stories of an amusing nature that might even be kind of remotely true, it could be anything at all. Meeting a famous person and something amusing happened, or meeting somebody that wasn't famous, as long as it's remotely musically related or guitar related, anything like that. A tale from your gigging days, a tale from when you used to work in a guitar shop. I am reminded of one where I can't remember who this was, but there was a guy who used to write on one of the guitar magazines, and before he did that, he worked in a big guitar shop in Birmingham. And a guy came in and bought a guitar and had a Scottish accent. And he said, and this guy who ended up writing on the guitar magazine said, "Oh, you're not from round here." Just making conversation. It wasn't like, "You're not from round these parts, are you, boy?" It wasn't one of those. It was, "You say, you're in town." Says, "Yeah, we're coming to do. We're playing a gig here." Oh yeah, where at? And he listed, like, the Dog and Trumpet, or the kind of the King's Arms, or any of the local music pubs. And this guy said, "No, actually, the NEC." It was Charlie Burchill from Simple Minds, which is that's one of those moments where you just want the ground to open up and swallow you, isn't it? So any kind of tale like that, and I've told my story about when I met Hilton Valentine out of the Animals, rest in peace. His band was doing a gig at a local. The band was called the Alligators, and this was back in the early to mid '90s. And his band, the Alligators, were basically on the same bill. We were much further down it than he was. I think they were headlining. And I walked up to him before the gig, and said, "Mr. Valentine, I just want to say that House of the Rising Sun is one of the reasons I learned to play the guitar. I can't thank you enough." And he just looked over the top of his pint glass and said, "Don't blame me, son. F off." And and it's like, Hilton Valentine swore at me. Yay! Megalock Ellie is saying, actually, have you ever done a top 5 acoustic guitar players? Top 5 steel string and top 5 nylon? I might have to lump those both together, actually, because, I'm very much an electric guitar centric person. I own 2 acoustics, one of which is just the brown one back there. That's my acoustic that I put in that I use just for a bit of texture on jam tracks a lot of the time. I often find that when you play like with a crunchy electric guitar sound, if somewhere lower in the mix there's an acoustic guitar kind of doubling it, it really does make for a perversely a ballsier sound. Double track them both, pan left and right. Yeah, you're in the happy zone there. And the other one, the lighter acoustic there, that's in sort of a high strung Nashville tuning, which, if you're not sure what that is, that's just the high strings off a 12-string set. And well, not often, but when I want a 12-string sound, I'll double track that with the regular tuned acoustic. But mainly, I'm an electric guitar aficionado, and the acoustic guitarists I like, well, Tommy Emmanuel would be in there. I would have to say Martin Taylor. His Spirit of Django album is, well, it gets regular plays in this house. I think I've got some John Williams stuff somewhere, or it's been a while since I've listened to it. And another classical guitarist who I really, really like is a chap called Craig Ogden, Australian guitar player. And a great album of his to check out is called The Guitarist, Craig Ogden, The Guitarist. There's a fantastic version of the Pirates of the Caribbean tune on there, and his version of the Ashokan Farewell is just absolutely beautiful. So I might give that a quote of thinking, mate. Gordon Giltrap, yes, how could I forget him? Remember Heart Song being on the radio when I was a kid all the time. Doc Alders is saying, would Django himself be making an appearance? Well, yeah, that's the elephant in the room, isn't it? How could I forget Django? So I've got Craig Ogden, I've got Tommy Emmanuel, I've got Django Reinhardt, and usually when I'm doing these top 5 videos, once I've got to 3, I know that it's got legs, as it were, and I will be able to, kind of come up with a list of 5. So yeah, let me just make a note of that. Top 5 acoustic players. And then, of course, how can you talk about acoustic players without mentioning Chet Atkins? I know he played both electric and acoustic, but he was, I should say, known for his acoustic work as well. Gary Shaw's saying, Tommy Emmanuel and Jack Pearson, YouTube, holy moly. Yeah, now there's a pair of players. Henry F. Potter is saying, Pat Metheny. Yeah, he's an incredible player, but I really tried. I've really tried with Pat Metheny. He almost made the cut of that video that I did about the fantastic guitar players that I should like, but can't quite get there. Bright Size Life or something, the album. I really, it's an album that I feel I should love, but I can't quite get there. Amadeus is saying, what's the takeaway tonight, JR? We are ordering from a local establishment called Supremos, and it's your typical kind of kebab, pizza kind of place. And I think I'm going to have their pepperoni pizza because it is really rather good. They're always on time. The food is always stinkingly fresh. And I think Mrs. Robson will be having their chicken fillet burger, which it's not like a chicken burger that's like, kind of all, when you get like chicken burgers and it's basically lips and tits and arseholes covered in breadcrumbs. It's not that. It's like a proper piece of chicken breast that's char grilled on a fresh bun with loads of salad and garlic mayo and everything. So I might even I'm talking myself into having one of those, actually, describing it. But no, I think the pepperoni pizza, because I get a big one and then I'll save some for lunch tomorrow. And what I don't eat will end up going in the bin, the 4-legged furry bin called Dougal. Let's have a look, see what else I've missed while I've been blethering on. Robert Johnson, says Vincent Brennan, again. Jan, is that Lowicki, saying, have you played through a Marshall Master Lead 30 watt? I haven't. Let's just kind of, we've got time. Marshall amps that I've played through or owned. Most recently, DSL-1. Then JCM 900 combo. 30th anniversary combo. JTM 45. I once did a gig where it wasn't my amp, but there was an amp on stage that I plugged into, and that was a 68 Super Lead. I've owned 2 valve states. I can't remember the model numbers, but one was the 8080, and the other one was, I think, a 100-watt one with built-in effects. And that might be it. So I've owned or played through 7 Marshall amps in my time, and I do love that sound. And which one was your favourite? I'm going to say the 68 Super Lead, because it is just, the Marshall Plexi is just, that's where my heart and soul lies. It's just, I think for me, it's the ultimate guitar amp. Now, if only Marshall could build one that was bloody reliable, everyone would be a winner. And on that note, chaps, I'm going to wrap it up there. 59 minutes and 56 seconds in. I've got some takeaway to go on order. Thank you once again for turning up and watching a fat, bald northern lad talk absolute bollocks for an hour. It's been a blast, and I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me. But for now, time, gentlemen, please.